Welcome back, boys and girls, to the Uncommon Professor podcast. It's me, Matt McCarthy, and I'm going to talk about probably one of the most important things I'm going to do on this podcast at all. Other than student safety, this is a biggie. Student loans, how to understand them, what they are, and what to look for. Now, as usual, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, commenting, and doing all that stuff. And as usual, this podcast is brought to you by this Amazon best-selling book. I'm very proud of that book. Looks kind of blurry to me. It'll probably be in the comment section where you can click on it to get it if you want. It's pretty cheap. So let me talk about student loans. And to understand student loans, one of the first things you may want to do is understand loans in general. So let's talk about buying a house first. That's a mortgage loan. So if you go to the bank and let's say you want to buy a $100,000 house and you show up with $20,000, you can do that and they'll lend you the other $80,000. How do they know you're going to pay it back? Here's how. They have collateral. The collateral is actually the house you bought. So let's say you screw up. Let's say you don't pay for that house for like, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 months in a row. Now, the first thing to know is they don't want to foreclose on you. They basically will probably lose money on that, but that's not the point. The point is the bank is willing to sell the house or at least loan you money to buy a house because the house itself is collateral, meaning let's say they foreclose on you. They still have the house. Now, it's a pain in the ass. They can sell the house. They have to pay the property taxes, the landscaper, all that stuff. A real estate agent, they don't want to do that, but they have collateral. Now, let's switch to a student loan. So a student loan does not have collateral, and that's why it has such goofy laws attached to it. So for instance, if you get a student loan and you stop paying, all of a sudden, what are they going to do? They're going to put you in debtor's prison? Probably not. That's not going to happen. So here's what did happen. Back when I was a kid, there were student loans and people would stop paying them and they would simply take the hit on their credit score. And it would eventually go away and it wouldn't hurt them that much. So people stopped doing student loans. However, they got laws put in place that basically means this. You can never, let me say that again. You can never get out from under a student loan. I know people that are my age still paying student loans. The other really difficult part about them is you're generally, if you're paying the lowest amount, you're generally only paying interest. And so it will take forever. And by forever, I mean 20, 30 years. So imagine having a car payment for a Toyota Corolla and it's like, let's say it's $425 a month, but you don't get the Toyota Corolla. That's what a student loan can feel like to you. So what ended up happening is when they got these new laws in place for student loans, if you went belly up or you did not pay it, they will hound you until the end of time. But you're thinking, oh, I got it. I'll declare bankruptcy. Go ahead. You can declare bankruptcy and you can have a lot of your debts expunged, maybe a credit card debt, maybe a house you can't do it. You have to qualify for it. However, do you know who doesn't care about bankruptcy? A student loan. You can declare bankruptcy, and at the end of it, you still have that same student loan payment. Now, am I telling you not to get one? No, I'm not quite telling you that. There are a lot of ways to go to college without student loans. Now, I can give you a whole bunch of them. Maybe you might not like them. Like, for instance, let me tell you about a story about one of the favorite TAs I've ever had. It was this big kid, way bigger than me, kind of tough. My students were a little intimidated by him. He had his own way. And I'm like, dude, what do you do? I'm in the Navy. Bullshit. You're not in the Navy. We're in the middle of Arizona. How are you in the Navy? He goes, look, dumbass. And yes, that's how he talked to me because he was bigger than I was. He goes, I joined the Navy 4 years ago. I did all the Navy stuff. And then At the end of the 4 years, you get to decide, do I want to keep being full-time Navy, or do I want to be in the Navy National Guard? And that's what he chose. So now he was going to school on the GI Bill. And what he told me was the GI Bill will pay for any public university. He happened to know the most expensive one. It was Cal Berkeley. And they don't just pay tuition. They pay room, board. And that's what he was doing at the school I went to. He found the major that he wanted. So, last couple things about student loans. If you go to a university and one of the first documents they hand you is a student loan application, run away. Don't go there. It's a trap. And here's the other thing I really want you to understand. I will never ever say that a subject or a major at a university is useless. I'm not that guy. It's useful to somebody. However, if you've seen this podcast before, what you're going to figure out is I am all about preparation, a preparatory time in your life. You're preparing to get a job. What you can do is, let's say you're going to get a business degree. And within the business degree, let's say it's business data analytics, economics, supply chain, good stuff. Go to that department and ask them, where have you placed your students, your graduates? Where do they go? Do they go to ExxonMobil? Do they go to Boeing, Goldman Sachs, wherever? And you can ask them this because they'll know, because it's required of them to know, how much money do they make? With that number, what you can figure out is ROI, return on investment. I'm very, very lucky. You know, I just can't stand rankings. But I will go back on that and say, look, the school I teach at has some of the highest ROI rankings in the nation, and that's a big deal. So, for instance, if you're going to get a student loan, understand what the payments are going to be and when they are going to be that. And then take your ROI and lay it on top of that. You can find out very, very quickly, is this worth it? Is it worth getting a student loan? That's really what I have for you. I'm sorry I've been away a little bit. As you can see, I moved. I'm in this glorious state right now. But thanks for coming by. I still owe another couple. I'm not quite up to 30 yet. Other than that, I hope you're having the greatest summer ever. Peace.